Good morning, beloveds. It is a wet day. I don't think it ever actually rained yesterday, but it was just misty and drizzly and all day, and it looks like we're gonna have another day of this. So it just at one point in the day, it's not even cold. It's not even cold. It's in the 60s. But I was just like, I'm craving hot chocolate and donuts. And I have a fairly strict diet where I try and limit my carbs. The last thing I need is donuts. So maybe get a keto recipe and figure out how to make keto donuts where they're high protein and high fiber and low carb, and then they probably won't taste good. All right, but that is what it is. And it is January 22nd. Our title is Constructive Thought Fills My Day. And if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. And that is from John 12:32. When Jesus spoke of being lifted up from earth, he meant that which is human about us must consciously become united with the divine. In ancient writings, the earth stood for the lowest form of life, while heaven represented the highest. Therefore, being lifted up from earth means uniting earth with heaven. This daily lifting up of our thoughts is necessary if we wish to so unite ourselves and everything we are doing with the divine spiritual power that flows through us and into all of our acts. I now turn to the spirit within me. I know that it is close to me. It is what I am, and it governs my life in harmony and in peace. And I know that through me, it brings joy and happiness to everyone I meet. Through the power of this indwelling spirit, I am a blessing to myself and to others. I lift up my whole mind to the realization that the Spirit of God is within me, and that this perfect Spirit is my real self. I invite the Spirit to direct my thoughts and acts, and I believe that it is doing so. I expect new ideas to stimulate my imagination and direct me into new ways of doing things. I invite and expect new circumstances and situations, and I know that as they present themselves, the intelligence within me will accept them and act upon them. I know that the divine presence within me makes itself known to every person I meet, to every situation I encounter. I know that it brings life and joy and happiness to everything and everyone. All right, first off, one of my favorite things that I just heard him say was uniting earth with heaven. Okay? He made mention of the ancient writings about the earth being the lowest form of life and the heaven being the highest. And he said to unite them. He didn't say to leave one of them behind for the other. And that is something that I think that religion can get wrong. When they denigrate the mortal form, the material world, what this is made up of, because we all have the same source. And so what Ernest is saying is unite them, allow that upper level to flow through. And I think that's very important, because that's one of the reasons why we take care of Earth. Why when I was learning, when I was in ministerial school and we were talking about, I took a class from a I took a class on Islam, and that was one of the things is that I appreciated about the Islam religion is because they looked around and they looked at the world and they said, this is a world that God has made. It is my responsibility to take care of it. And so Ernest is saying the same thing. Ernest is saying, hey, you know what? Everything around you is made by God. We have a responsibility to take care of it. And when we spend too much time focused on heaven, then we forget to take care of earth. It's like, we live here. So I appreciated that from Ernest. But, all right. So, constructive thought fills my day. That is our title. And I like it. I like it. I like it. And if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. So according to Ernest, that is a Jesus statement. So you might go back and look that up. Like I said, that's John 12:32, and read that in context. It might make more sense that way. When Jesus spoke of being lifted up from the earth, he meant that which is human about us must consciously become united with the divine. And that is a big thing for Ernest. He's like, there's a place within you where God is. I mean, you're made of God stuff, but there's a place within you where it's pure, unfiltered God. And that is what we want to focus on. We want to focus on that pure, unfiltered God that we're not perceiving through mortal or material means, that spiritual level. And we want to turn that up and let that flow through the mortal or material means that we are, so that that unfiltered spirit is informing our mortal or material perceptions. We must consciously unite with the divine. In ancient writing, the earth stood for the lowest form of life, while heaven represented the highest. Okay, I already mentioned that. Therefore, being lifted up from earth means uniting earth with heaven. And that's what we are. That is exactly what we are. We are that conduit to unite heaven and earth. Troward calls us divine distributors, because we are walking around in this material, mortal form, but we have the connection to the unfiltered divine. And we have the ability and hopefully the willingness to allow it to flow through us out into the material world, to be that divine distributor. This daily lifting up of our thought is necessary if we wish to so unite ourselves and everything we are doing with the divine spiritual power that flows through us and into all of our acts. So, this daily lifting up of our thoughts is necessary if we want to be those divine distributors, which I can say in one, a lot fewer words than he just used. So but that's the goal of Science of Mind. That is the goal of Science of Mind, to recognize who we are, to recognize that we have access to that unfiltered God, and we have the right and the ability and I want to use the word impetus, but that may not be the word I want, to do it. It's like we have the desire to let that flow through us. I'll use that word. I now turn to the spirit within me. I know that it is close to me. It's what I am made up of. It's what you are made up of. It is what I am. And it governs my life in harmony and peace. If that is not your perception of spirit, then that is a place for you to go and do some work. I am willing to be guided by spirit because I know spirit is guiding me in peace and harmony. And And I am willing to use the word God to say that. If that word makes you uncomfortable, use another. But it shows you where you can do some work. And I know that through me, it brings joy and happiness to everyone I meet. Yes, I want to be a little ray of sunshine, or sometimes a big ray of sunshine. Am I always? No. I'm not always a ray of sunshine. You can ask my husband. I am not always a ray of sunshine. But that's what I work on daily. I work on being that. I work on allowing that spirit to flow through me so that that's the capital IT, not me, but the spirit flowing through me brings joy and happiness to everyone I meet. I don't have to do it. I just have to be a willing conduit. Through the power of this indwelling spirit, I am a blessing to myself and others. Coming through me. Which then also lets me off the hook when people around me aren't happy and joyful, because I can't make them happy. All I can do is allow it to flow through me and to provide it. They still have to be willing to accept it. So that lets you off the hook when you walk into a room and everybody's miserable. If you are turned on and got the spirit flowing, then, and they are willing to accept it, then everybody becomes joyful and happiness. But if you walk into a room and you've got the spirit flowing and they're not willing to accept it, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So it's coming through us, but the other party has to accept it. You learn that in prayer work as well. It's like, I can pray for you all I want, but until you're willing to accept it, the prayer will not be fulfilled. You can come to me and ask me to pray for you, but until you're willing to accept it, all of my prayers are not going to do much more than create the space for you, if that makes sense. So remember, it's coming through you, not from you. Your only responsibility is to be the willing conduit. You don't have to force anybody to accept anything. Just hold the space for them. I lift up my whole mind to the realization that the Spirit of God is within me, and that this perfect spirit is my real self. I think I see the mission for today. I invite the Spirit to direct my thoughts and acts because I know that Spirit will direct them in its own nature. And what is its own nature? Unity, peace, joy, love, creativity. I want that. I hope you do too. And I believe that it is doing so. I believe that it is doing so. I expect new ideas to stimulate my imagination and to direct me into new ways of doing things. If you are setting out on a new project, right there, this paragraph would be a great one to open your new project with. I invite and I already said that. I invite and expect new circumstances and situations. I know that as they present themselves, the intelligence within me, capital I, within me will accept them and act upon them, meaning I will see the opportunities and I will not let them go to waste. I will not let them go to the waste. I will act on them. Will it look like I expect it to? Not necessarily. It might, and frequently it does, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we get directed to do things and we're like, what? And then we do them and go, that was amazing. And that's trust. And how do you know the difference between ego and spirit? One of the quick and easy ways is that ego only serves itself, where spirit serves everyone. Is this good for me, or is this good for everyone? And when I say everyone, the me, the I, the you, that's included. So Just because something is good for you doesn't mean it's wrong. The question is it only good for you? That's ego. But if it's good for you and good for everyone else around you, that's probably spirit. So, I know that the divine presence within me makes itself known to every person I meet, to every situation I encounter. And that's that looking in your own eyes and seeing God looking back at you, looking in other people's eyes and seeing God looking back at you. And knowing that they see that too, whether they consciously recognize it or not. The more connected you are, then they're going to look at you and they're going to see something. They may not know what it is, but the spirit within them will know. I know that it brings, capital I, it brings life and joy and happiness to everything and everyone. All right. So, constructive thoughts today. That's what we're after. And I believe that I think that the mission, should we choose to accept it today, is to lift up our whole minds to the realization that the Spirit of God is within us and that this perfect Spirit is our real self. That is our mission, should we choose to accept it. And I think that's a pretty cool mission. So we are going to unite heaven and earth today and see what that looks like on this wet, warm January day. As always, I do encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself every day. Because you are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased. And you deserve it. You deserve loving kindness and compassion from yourself. The more you give to yourself, the more you will have to give to everyone around you. The spirit within. So, there's a cat between my feet. Yeah, that is it. That is it. As always, I encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today. If we see the sun, get a little sunshine on your face, get some fresh air, drink some water, and do what you need to do to make it a good day, a fantastic day, a wonderful day, whatever it looks like. Because you are spirit in motion, and you deserve that. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you live in heaven now. And to remind you that you have an unfiltered place to meet spirit, to meet God, and to allow that spirit to flow through you into this world. That is who we are. That is what we're here for. Regardless of what other material and mortal things we do, one of our purposes is to be a divine distributor. To bring God into this world in a way that only we can. All right, beloveds. I will remind you, Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. I will be back with you at 9 a.m.-ish tomorrow, because tomorrow is Saturday and I get to go to the park. So, all right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.